Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today, I would like to talk about, and I can only describe it as, self sacrificing. And what I mean by that is I mean that sometimes, I think that we are all coming to terms that we are seeds that need to grow where we are planted. And it's not so much like, yes, we can create our reality and we can create a reality that we love, but essentially that needs to stem from working with what we have. And just because you were born into one reality, like I said, it's not that you can't get to a completely new, different reality. However, it needs to come from working with with what you got. You gotta kind of that's the place that you're coming from because that is the place that you were planted. And no amount of manifestation or hoping and wishing is going to overnight put you in a completely different situation. Yes, certain things can happen where that can happen, but just in general, things mainly happen step by step because we are growing step by step. So for us to totally transform our life overnight doesn't mean that that's not something that the universe can do, but the universe is not going to do that until we are ready. And most times you are not ready for a complete transformation overnight. A lot of times things need to happen step by step because you learn lessons one at a time. Not that you can't learn multiple lessons from one thing, but it is not just all of a sudden I'm the type of person that supports the life that I want. So that is kind of why things happen step by step. Now, something that I've been feeling and that it's really important to use your discernment in. We need to use our discernment in discerning whether something is what God wants us to go through as opposed to something that we could choose to change, and we can change it, so we should change it. And it was interesting, and I'll give you the example that was really coming to me was when I was really consciously thinking about my job and, thinking about, well, and the thought was, well, if God wants me to work here, if God wants me to do this, then that is what I'm going to do. But then almost immediately, I got a message that was like, no, that it's not exactly what God wants you to do. God has given you the power to change. God has given you the power to look for another job or to be happier in your own job, or, certain things are, I don't want to make the comparison because it's not really comparable, but I think it portrays the message. Not everything is a cross for us to bear. Some things are a cross for us to bear when we are going through hard times. Although some crosses are meant for us to bear, to realize that we have a choice in the situation. We have a say in it. Remember, we have free will and we have the power to not just create our lives, but the power to choose different things and go down different paths. We very much need to be taking advantage of that because we are co-creators. It is, of course, we need to acknowledge the God above us, the universe that coordinates all things and creates all miracles, including us. We need to acknowledge and take advantage of the God within us, of the godly beings that we are, that are put here with free will in a world where we can choose different things. Like, I'm going to go to work this morning. I am choosing to go to work. No one is I might be forced by life circumstances, but ultimately I can choose not to go today. That is my choice. And we need to acknowledge that we have a lot more choice and we have a lot more freedom than we think. Because a lot of times I think we get bogged down into, God's path for us. But God's path for us sometimes is not super defined. It's not, well, you do this and then you will do this and you do this. God's path for us a lot of times is, landmarks and milestones of things we are meant to go through and things we are meant to pass through, things we are meant to experience and things we are meant to do. However, a lot of times there's a lot of different avenues to that path. And when you tune into your path from the divine, a lot of times, I know for me personally, I can say, well, I know I'm supposed to do this, but the path to that isn't clear. And that's kind of like what I'm seeking the clarity on, is the path to that. But what I'm missing is that it's not a clear path and it's not a certain one path fits all. It is different avenues to the same way, and that avenue is where my free will and my choice come in to play. So I want to keep this a little bit short, but if you are seeking clarity or finding that you're in a situation that you don't love, really go within and ask yourself, is this a situation that the divine is putting on me for a reason? Or is this a situation that the divine is putting on me so I can really realize my true free will and my true choice and my true freedom? That, I think, is where we need to start using our discernment and gaining more clarity on. So that is our message for today. My name is Anne. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.